Al Lanier has to feel great about his ball club right now. And they can put a banner right up next to that 1980 Western Division Championship banner with a win this afternoon. The crowd is about in their seats right now, a late arriving crowd. We should have close to 38,000 this afternoon. They're all pumped up and ready to go. And here to call the action for you is Gene Elston.
Okay, Bill, we are set to play ball here this afternoon. This is a first, of course. The Astros have not had the opportunity to clinch a division championship, but once before that was in LA. So it's home today. If they can make it, it'll be a great day for the fans. Wow. And he is plunked in the back, Dan Gladden. And the Giants have a man on base. So Gladden hit by a pitch in the first pitch of the ball game.
That's really, you can tell he's pumped up because that's something you don't want to do. Gladden is the guy that leads this club in steals, and once he gets on base, he can make a lot of things happen. So Mike Scott certainly didn't want to do that.
It'll take a few minutes here to get settled down. As everybody knows, this is a big one. Big one for all the individuals on this ball club, and of course as a team, and the coaching staff and everybody connected with it. Here's Robbie Thompson. Gladden with 24 stolen bases, big lead off first base. Thompson a .273 hitter. And Gladden's running on the first pitch, and Ashby's throw is not in time and a stolen base. And with 2 pitches in the ball game, the Giants have a runner on second base. Giants have run pretty well on the Astros this year. Only the Cardinals have stolen more bases against Houston. Cincinnati and San Francisco now, that's the 23rd each for the club. And Thompson has a 1-0 count. Stolen base by Gladden and nobody out. Mike Scott, 17 victories and 10 losses coming on today, and the pitch is inside. 2 balls and no strikes, 2-0. 6-4 final. That Cincinnati victory over Atlanta today. One of the amazing things about this crowd, Bill, is that they get into it so quickly. And here the Giants have a man on second base and a 3-0 count here on Robbie Thompson. And they're already appealing to Scott to get something going here. Should be a fun afternoon here at the Astrodome today. And the staff, Les Moss, Gene Tennis, skipper Hal Lanier, 3-0 pitch. There's the strike. That's what the fans wanted.
I think that's what Mike Scott wanted more than anything.
Yeah, really. First pitch of the ball game, he hits Gladden. Steele is second on the second pitch. Now he's 3-1 on the rookie with Will Clark up next. We've just started here in the Astrodome. We're in the top of the first, and now strike 2 to the rookie Thompson.
Gene, you have alluded to it all season long, and I will second your emotion in the fact that Scott is one of the rare pitchers, along with the other one, Nolan Ryan, we have, who is able to get a strikeout when he needs it, and that's so important.
And he needs one badly right here. There is nobody out. He has 3-2 now on Robbie Thompson. Scott ready to work again now with a big lead by Gladden off second base. And he popped him up. Craig Reynolds at shortstop. Thompson one away. Now Thompson goes out on the 3-2 pitch. Last Saturday, Scott won against the San Diego Padres. That was pretty much a blowout for him. The Astros won at 10-6. He worked 7 innings and then came out early as Hal Lanier wanted to rest him for a couple innings. 3 runs and 5 hits is all in that game Saturday. And not unusual, 11 strikeouts for Scott in that game. He did not walk anybody. Mike has a pretty good run going now as he faces Will Clark. Pretty good run going as far as control is concerned, although he did hit Gladden to get this one underway. That's a strike.
You know, unlike that other game, Gene, all the damage against Mike came early. And it seems like, you know, if he gets through those first 2 or 3 innings and gets rolling, he's in pretty good shape.
1 strike here on Clark, a .292 hitter, partial season, of course, due to a injury that kept him on the disabled list for about a month and a half. And that's a fair ball. Runner goes, Gladden goes to third, 2 outs. Gladden breaking immediately on the big chop off the third base side. Alan Ashby to Glenn Davis at first base. So with 2 down, the Giants get a runner to third for Candy Maldonado. You could write a feature here on Scott's statistics this year. Boy, just about every category that he has been great this year. Here's Maldonado. Real good year for this young man. .250 batting average. Leads the Giants with 72 runs batted in. Pop foul out of play to the right side. Giants have done a good job this year. A ball club that lost 100 games last year. You have to give the Giant organization and manager Roger Craig an awfully lot of credit for the way they've turned this ball club around this year. Maldonado acquired for Alex Trevino. There's Roger and Bob Lillis. We all know the Flea, of course. Roger used to coach here as a pitching coach at one time. 1 strike here on Maldonado. Gladden on third. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Maldonado. Bill mentioned that Scott leads in innings pitched. He leads the majors in 3 categories: innings pitched, strikeouts, and ERA. 1 ball and 1 strike here on Maldonado. 2 balls and 1 strike. Scott, 31 years old, has been an Astro since the beginning of the '83 season. He has won 50 games and lost 35. He's 2 games over 500 lifetime. He is 15 games over 500 in a Houston uniform. Ball 2 and strike 1 to Maldonado, and he popped him up. This will be Davis' ball right off the bag. Fair ball. Hit batter, steal, move up on the ground ball. Nothing doing top half of the first inning here at the Astrodome for the San Francisco Giants.
Let's set the defensive alignment now for the San Francisco Giants. The youngster Will Clark will be at first base. Another equally impressive rookie at second base, Rob Thompson. Jose Uribe at shortstop. Bob Brinley, the converted catcher, at third base. In the outfield, Candy Maldonado in left field. Dan Gladden in center field, who can run like a deer, and Chili Davis will be over in right. Young catcher they just brought up from their minor league organization, Phil Willett, will be behind the plate. And on the mound will be 31-year-old Juan Berenguer, who has a 2-2 record, .277 ERA, and he's getting one of his rare starts today. This will be his 4th starting assignment for the San Francisco Giants. They brought him over from the Detroit Tigers a couple of seasons ago. Billy Hatcher will be leading it off. Then it's Billy Doran, Denny Walling, Davis, Bass, Cruz, Ashby, Reynolds, and Scott.
Well, we'll look at a hard thrower here today. Strictly a blazer. Berenguer will be in the mid-90s most of the afternoon as long as he's in there. But as Bill just pointed out, he is a relief pitcher basically. He's appeared 42 times out of the bullpen in his 4th start today. Billy Hatcher, .268. Bottom half of the first inning. 2 balls and no strikes. Berenguer 2-2 for the year, .277 ERA. He's worked about 9 innings this year in relief against the Astros. Hatcher, Doran, and Walling, bottom half of the first inning. Fans are still coming in here at the Astrodome this afternoon. 1 ball, 1 strike windup by Berenguer. Ooh, he was hit on the left hand, I believe.
Boy, you hate to see that with the playoffs coming up. He's already got that elbow that bothers him a little bit. You see he's got the wrapping on that.
Took that fastball, and that's just about all that Berenguer will throw.
You just hope it's not on a bony part of the arm. If it's on the fleshy part, it'll hurt for a while, but it
looked like the back of the hand, didn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of hard to tell, but it's in that area. That's Dave Labossiere, the trainer. Well, I'll make odds with you. Hatcher will be on first base in a minute.
I'll tell you one thing, Bob Engel went right out to talk to Berenguer about it, didn't he? Now, Scott, you'll remember, hit Gladden to start the game.
This is very
now there's
unusual.
a warning going on,
Very
right?
unusual. I am very surprised at this. I am really surprised that Engel, this early in the ball game, even though Gladden was hit by the pitch, but Engel has to do this. Now let me go over the rule with you. If the plate umpire believes that Berenguer here in this instant was intentionally throwing at Billy Hatcher because of the Dan Gladden hit batsman, then he will warn the pitcher that the next time he comes close to a batter, or in the umpire's discretion he is throwing at another batter, he will be immediately ejected along with his manager. So he must notify both benches. You saw Lanier out, and there's the talk with Roger Craig. So the next time that Engel believes that somebody's throwing at somebody, they are gone, and the manager with them. So Engel's interesting. He's going to keep this thing in check since we've had 2 hit batters already in the first inning. That's the first batter, incidentally, that Berenguer has hit this year.
And really, Gene, I really believe both were unintentional, but that's Engel's job, as you pointed out.
Yeah, and I think with a hyped-up game like this one today, the crew chief decided he'd better make a move right away. This is Bill Doran. Hatcher's running on the first pitch. Steele doesn't need that hand to run. That's 37 for Hatcher.
You do it to us, we'll do it to you. Phil Willett is the youngster behind the plate, and he has a little trouble getting it out. See the double clutch? He couldn't get that baseball real good out of the glove. Hatcher is just having a phenomenal season, and boy, he has really come on since he's been moved into the leadoff position.
Doran hitting .277. He has a strike from Berenguer. Astros have a man on second base. There's that Hummer, and he's got a good one. 2 strikes. Doran 5 homers, 35 RBIs. Two strikes. Doran gets behind with Walling up next. Uribe continues to stalk Hatcher, who continues off the second base. Oh, there's the changeup. Got him on 3 pitches. You don't expect a whole lot of those from Berenguer, but he set him up for that one.
Billy tried to hold off on it, hoping it would be a ball, but I think it catches the inside corner. Yeah, that's a good pitch.
So Walling will hit with 1 out and a runner on second base. Berenguer, a native of Panama, lives in Michigan now. He played with the Tigers, as Bill pointed out earlier, as most of you know. 5'11" and 215 pounds. A lot of bulk on him. Walling with a .312 batting average. And the fastball up and away, ball 1-0. 12 homers, 56 RBIs for Walling. Outfield is deep and off the right side. Left fielder Candy Maldonado is playing into the opposite side. The gap in left center is open here at the Astrodome for Walling. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I think Engel got a little bad call on that one, and Walling is going to ask him about it. Walling's got a pretty good eye. From up here, that looked like it was not in the zone.
Gene, I want you to watch Berenguer's stretch. It's purely cosmetic. I mean, he doesn't have to do this. He never moves his feet. Now, you'll watch him once he sets on the rubber. He could just come to his waist, but watch this. He'll give it the arm action and never moves his feet once. He's ready.
He can start right there. That's a ball outside.
He doesn't have to do all of that. You know, most guys who work out of the stretch, they use the the raising of the arms to get their feet in position to throw to home. So they'll move their feet and their arms at the same time. But Juan, he doesn't do that. Watch, just the arms.
2 balls, 1 strike. And the runner stealing third, and they got him. Nice throw by Phil Willett, the rookie catcher, right on top of the bag to Bob Brenly. Nice play. They got him stealing. 2 men are out and a 3-1 count here on Walling.
Well, the tough thing about stealing third in this situation is that Willett's got a good view down there to third base. But it's not a right-handed hitter, it's a left-hander, and so he doesn't have any chance of getting his vision blocked.
Now there are 2 men out, nobody on base, and the 3-1 pitch to Walling. Now 3-2. Berenguer, 31 years old, broke in with the New York Mets originally in the big leagues in 1978. Been around a little bit at some different ball clubs. That's fouled out of play. Went to Kansas City in '81. In fact, he was involved in a deal for Marvell Wynn, and then was sold to Toronto and released, and then went on to Detroit, signed by a minor league contract actually by the Tigers, worked his way back up to the big leagues, and then came to San Francisco along with Bob Melvin for Dave LaPointe before the season started. He has a 3-2 count here on Walling with 2 outs, nobody on, and a base hit to center field, and there's the first hit of the ball game. 3-2, and Walling shoots it into left center field.
Now, for all of you folks saying, well, now, why did he try to steal third base? We'd have had a run. Well, it's Astros baseball. That's the way they've been playing all season long. Billy was trying to make something happen.
Tried to get to third where Walling might have flied and scored on the sacrifice. But they have been aggressive, and for the most part, absolutely has to pay off. Magic numbers, only one, let's face it. Here's Davis, 265. Davis, with that 30th home run of the year last night, has taken over the third spot in slugging in the National League now with a .495. He's been right in that vicinity along with Kevin Bass for some time.
I don't know how you described his home run on radio last night, but it got out so fast I really didn't have a chance to say anything.
Oh, all you have to say, it's gone, and that's the way it went out of here. Line drive.
Ooh.
Practically went through that screen in left field. I'm kind of strong. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Davis with 97 RBIs now. All-time high, 37 home runs by Jim Wynn. Wynn had his 37 home runs for this ball club at this time. He had, by the time his 150th game had come along, Wynn did not get another home run after that. Of course, there's only a little bit, well, what, 10 games to play, something like that, so that's out of the question, basically. Juan Berenguer has hit a batter. Hatcher's been caught stealing third base after he stole second. Doran has struck out. Walling is single. 2-1 here on Glenn Davis. And a very high power.
Every time he hits one in the air, you can hear the crowd.
Ball 2, strike 2.
I'll tell you, there are a lot of guys called in sick today.
Yes, a lot of coat and ties here today.
Yeah. That old office didn't look that good this afternoon, did it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. They certainly will be excused for it. This is a first happening here in Houston. Ball 2, strike 2. Walling on first base. And Davis takes a little chopper that bounces to catcher Phil Willett. Full count, 3-2. Little threat by the Giants in the top of the inning, and likewise here for Houston in the bottom half. 2 outs, and Clark has left the bag at first base for Walling. And Walling makes his move to second base. Base hit to left field. Walling will have to stop at second because that ball was hit very sharply and right to the left fielder, Candy Maldonado. Once again, it is apparent that Davis is a power hitter, but is so good with the clutch hits and does not strike out a lot. It's really amazing that that kid has worked with Dennis Menke and just can handle those pitches very nicely.
I think what Roger Craig is doing is coming out and saying to Juan Berenguer, now pretend like I'm bringing you in from the bullpen now.
Yeah.
And try to get me an out here.
Now you're more comfortable with men on.
Well, what Roger's problem is right now is that the season the middle of this Astro lineup has had, when you think about it. Walling has been sensational. Glenn Davis, as Gene just said, has been absolutely fantastic. And now you're getting to a guy who's been Mr. Clutch all year long for Houston. 177 hits. You can't rest with Kevin Bass and then Jose Cruz on deck.
Well, there they are. Walling at second base and Davis on first. 3 of the first 4 batters have reached in this ball game. 1 wiped out on the attempted steal. Bass hitting .313. There are 2 men out here in the bottom of the first. 1 ball, no strikes to Kevin. Davis batting 4th most of the year, and Bass right behind him. A lot of home runs, a lot of RBIs back to back there. And Cheo with pretty good numbers considering he was not strong at the beginning. Fly ball, right field, and back to the wall, Davis, and that'll end the inning. It started out like it had a shot. Died Chili Davis just about back to the barrier, right up against it. Bass flies out. Astros create a little excitement here in the first inning. But as we go to the top of the second here on Home Sports Entertainment, early in the ball game, and to 1-0.
Well, it certainly has been a great Scott type of season for Mike Scott this year, and Gene told you a moment ago, leading in 3 categories in the major leagues. And there are his rankings and his ERA and his strikeouts and innings pitched. And shutouts, he's second with 4, and he has 17 wins, trying to make it number 18 today.
That 4 shutouts, of course. Bob Nepper with 4 and Jack Morris also with 4. They are the leaders, 5 each. Little HSE plug there for Mr. Lanier, who is a shoo-in for Manager of the Year in the National League.
Oh, you bet.
Here's Chili Davis, switch hitter. 3 switchers in the lineup today for the Giants. This 276 average for Davis is the highest in the club, 276. Clark batting 292 coming in today, but he has not been up enough to qualify. 11 homers, 65 runs batted in for Davis, and Scott gets behind here 2-0. There's one other category that, well, there are quite a few categories when you talk about Scott. This is the 36th game that he has started this year. Ball 3, gets behind. A little shaky here to start the ball game, and a little shaky here to begin the second. In 35 starts, Scott has pitched 7 or more innings in 28 of them. He's averaged 7 and 1/3 innings per outing. 3-1. Nobody out. Brenly will be next, and then Phil Willett. 6'3", 215-pounder. Mike out of California, but has made his home in Arizona now for the past few years. Here's that 3-1 pitch, and ball 4. So the lead man is on for the second time. That is the first base on balls that Scott has given up in 25 and 2/3 innings. About 12 innings shy of the club record set in 1965 by Robin Roberts. Here's Brenly, runner first. Brenly leads the Giants with 16 home runs. Davis at first, 14 steals. I mentioned the Giants will run a lot on the Astros, and Scott is very vulnerable to that. And a strike. Strike 1. Strike 1 to Brenly. Batting 253. 0-0 as we play on the top of the second. Brenly caught most of the time in the early season against the Astros, but Houston ran very freely on him. So, with the exception of today, of course, where Roger Craig has the rookie in there, we've seen Bob Melvin most of the time, who is the stronger defensive catcher. So Brenly, with his bat, will play third base most of the time, and played a lot of first while Will Clark was laid up. Chili Davis.
Having another good year. Good ball player.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a little bit slow in developing, but good commodity right now. There he goes. 2 strikes on Brenly's swing, and the second steal of the day for San Francisco. 15 for Davis. That's the 25th steal for the Giants against Houston this year.
Tremendous jump. Now watch the kick by Scott. You see, by that time Davis has already made about 5 steps towards second base, and there's really no way that you know, he almost got decoyed by Billy Doran, didn't he?
He sure did. That's a great shot there. Where is it? 2 strikes on Brenly. Struck him out on 3 pitches. That's number 1 for Scott today. 286.
That's about as long as I've seen him go without a strikeout this season.
Well, hasn't been very much. You know, he is just about averaged coming into today. Bill is just about averaged 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's 9.9 coming into today, and pushing that 300 mark, which has been done twice by a National League right-hander in history, both times by J.R. Richard. 286 right now. Here's Phil Willett, the rookie. 143 average. He's had 2 hits since he came up here, 2 for 14. He is a switch hitter.
Well, he just threw the old split finger that time, and the real irony about that story is he learned it from the San Francisco dugout, basically. When he went to Roger Craig, of course, he hadn't been hired as the manager of San Francisco, and Roger gladly taught him the pitch.
1 strike, runner on second, Chili Davis, no score. and out here for the Giants in the top of the second, and a ball. So Roger Craig taught it to him and was one of the first ones to challenge him on it. One of the first ones about scuffing the ball. Well, I taught you that pitch, but it didn't move like that when I taught you.
Yeah, but he just learned it. Roger has been accusing a lot of folks this year of scuffing the old ball. I wonder if that's the pitch he teaches.
Well, Roger threw a lot of Major League Baseball. He probably knows just about as much as anybody about scuffing or cutting up a ball. Ball 2 and strike 1 on Phil Willett. Scott with 6 complete games. He has lost twice to San Francisco this year without a win. Giants beat him 4-1, and then they came back and beat him again 3-1. The last start was the no decision, so this is his 4th start against San Francisco this year. He's 2-1 here on Willett, and there's a dandy. Take a look at that one. 2-2. Here's what Scott's done against the Giants this year. He has a 270 earned run average, 20 innings, 7 runs, and 18 hits.
Watch the bottom fall out here.
Boom. Ball 2, strike 2. Base on balls to Davis, a steal, a strikeout of Brenly. And a 2-2 count here to Phil Willett. Back to the net, still 2-2. Two men on so far in the ball game, 1 in each inning here for San Francisco. Hit batter and a walk. Cincinnati won today 6-4. So the Astros will have to win this one if they want to clinch today. No score in the second inning. That's strikeout number 2.
Well, I did that so much in my brief career, I can tell you how that feels. First of all, every rib on your right side almost caves in, and you almost break your right wrist. Now watch, he's trying to swing. Now he decides to lay off. And he'll be sore tomorrow morning.
Well, that was Phil Willett, and he has just struck out, and here's Jose Uribe. Shortstop for the Giants is a switcher. There's a 224 average, and 2 outs now with Chili Davis on second base. Ball 1 down a little bit. Mike Scott 17 wins as he looks at Uribe here in the second inning. 18-8 last year for Scott. And 1-0 to Uribe. And that's trouble, and Dorn back. Took my eye off of Dorn. He had it all the way. Watching Bass, he had no chance on it. Dorn made an easy play on it, drifting back. That retires the side. So the Giants get a couple runners to scoring position early. They are both stranded there as Uribe ends it with a pop to second.
Some of the crowd with a festive occasion at the Dome, and you can tell those fans have been around a long time. They have the orange caps.
Yeah, they sure look weird at this stage.
But they're having a big time at the ballpark. The air horns are out and everything.
Well, a special season, a special thanks. Join the Astros on Sunday, October 5th for Fan Appreciation Day when the Astros play the Braves at 2:05. Hundreds of gifts will be given away to let you, our fans, know we appreciate you. Bring the family to the Astros' final home game of this truly special 25th season. Fun, excitement, and plenty of great memories. Tickets are on sale at Ticketron, the Astrodome, or call 526-1709. Should be a great day, the last day of the season. The Atlanta Braves, and by then, of course, the Astros will have locked it up a long time ago. Like today, for example. Here's Cheo. 274 average against Juan Berenguer. We're scoreless in the bottom of the second. Cruz, Ashby, and Reynolds. Every once in a while they play that 5th no-hitter of Noli's with that orange cap. Boy, you say, what club is that? 2-2. Teo giving us some pretty good rips off this fastballer here to open the second. 10 homers, 68 RBI.
That was even too high for Jose. As you know, Gene, and following him so many years, he's got about 6 different strokes. Now he had his home run stroke on the first couple of swings, and now he may just try to make some contact here.
Ball 2 and strike 2. Yeah, he's got all kinds of hits in him. The occasional long ball. He's been pretty good at that the last week. And the chop, of course. And I think he gets most of those, as you say, after he shortens up a little bit in the count. Now it's 3-2. Hatcher hit by a pitch. Base hits by Walling and Davis in the first. No score, however. And ball 4.
You know, I really believe that Jose Cruz is the type of hitter that sets up a pitcher. And there are not too many like that, but he may have a pitch he wants to swing at just to make you think that that's the pitch you're going to get him out on, and then the next time you come in with it, boom, it's gone.
Well, he has been in this game a long time, and you're probably right. Docheo's at first base, and Alan Ashby the hitter. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Some pretty good cuts on this guy. Strike one. Look at Ashby's numbers. Walk to Cruz. First base on balls off Berenguer. He has hit a batter. I'm expecting Cheo to move a little bit. I'm surprised at that. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Nolan Stoll tried to steal a base last night.
Yeah. Yeah, he set a club record too. That's the 3rd time he's been caught. Noli has been running rampant on the bases since he came over here in 1980. And a base hit to right. Cruz will hold at second as Chili Davis quickly gets to the ball and goes right over to third base to Brenly with it. Astros have something going in the second inning. Walk, base hit.
Well, in this situation with Mike Scott due up, I think they'll let Reynolds hit away, and you might see what Hal Lanier's got planned here. See if Craig can pull the ball to the right side.
Craig is in a real bad slump right now, approaching one of the longest that he's ever had with the Astros. He's 0 for 17 coming in right now. 244 average, 6 homers, 34 RBIs, and if you are thinking a bunt here, but as Bill pointed out, Scott's up next. He is one of the best bunters on the club. Cruz second, Ashby first base. No score, bottom of the second. Popped him up. Left center field. And the left fielder, Candy Maldonado, handles it. And they'll leave the bunting here to another one of the best bunters on the club, Mike Scott. So Cruz on second with a walk, and Ashby with a base hit on first base. And 1 out. Scott's had 9 sacrifices this year. He has been called upon to bunt 11 times. So he has missed on only 2. There's Jeff Robinson in the bullpen. First action we've had down the lines. We're only in the second inning. No score. A threat for the Astros. 1 out. 9 sacrifices, 11 hits for Mike Scott. Strike 1. Brenly staying back at third and Clark charging.
Excuse me, Gene. I think his problem that time is Mike waited too long to show bunt. Everybody knows he's going to bunt. He might as well square around and get in position so that he's ready to go with it.
Houston nothing and San Francisco nothing in the bottom of the second. 0-2. That fastball up by Berenguer and a tough one to bunt.
Yeah, it really is. He might have laid off those 2. That is probably the toughest pitch to hit or try to lay down.
Dave Pallone umpiring at second base today. And the runners are Cruz and Ashby with 1 out. 2 strikes here on Mike Scott. He got it down. He has a play at third. Gets the force and no double play. But Scott cannot convert it. Bunt too hard, and Berenguer had plenty of time to get it over to third base to get a force on Cruz.
Well, it was another high pitch. And you see how he tried to give with the bat, but there was no way. The AstroTurf speeds the ball up to Berenguer so that he has an easy play over to third base to get Cruz. Now the only problem is you've probably got the 2 slowest runners on the team on base, so if Hatcher hits anything, it better be in the gap.
Yeah, there is not too much speed out there now. Ashby on second and Scott on first. Hatcher hit in the hand by a pitch in the first inning. Stole second, throwing out trying to steal third. Oh, with 2 outs, still 0-0 here in the bottom of the second. And down to the shortstop. Uribe will go to first base with it to Will Clark, and that'll retire the side. So the Astros leave 2 on in the first, leave 2 on in the second inning. They get some threats going, but so far nothing is materialized. After 2 innings, nothing and nothing. Scott has hit a batter and walked one. A couple of strikeouts early, and the pitcher Juan Berenguer will be leading it off. Berenguer and then Dan Gladden and Robbie Thompson. Danny Walling. 1 out. Berenguer's had 1 hit. He's had 2 hits in his major league career. Of course, he spent some time in the American League. And he's out on the first pitch, and we'll go to the top side of the order now to Dan Gladden again. Kansas City beat Minnesota today. Day game final. Royals 8, Minnesota 1, and that Cincinnati score again 6-4 as the Reds beat Atlanta. Nolan Ryan, Phil Garner, Dan Gladden hit by that pitch in the back. Initial pitch of the game by Scott. Stole second base and then was stranded. 1 strike to Gladden. Matt Keogh will open that Atlanta series tomorrow in Atlanta against Doyle Alexander. Walling will get another shot. And the big bounce. 2 outs. Scott a little bit slow getting started in each of the first 2 innings with a hit batter and a walk. Gets 2 quick outs here in the third. Astros trying to wrap it up today. The Western Division of the American League and the Eastern Division of the American League getting close. But magic number for the Angels is 3, and the magic number for the Red Sox is 3. One strike. 2 strikes on Thompson. Cleveland is at California tonight, and Toronto at Detroit.
Who do you think is going to be the first guy to ask to see the ball?
Oh, I don't know. You know, it's been quite a while since anybody has, but I think it's about due to be popped up again. 1-2.
Especially if that split finger keeps going down the way it is.
2 outs, nobody on, no score. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Robbie Thompson. He'll get a lot of Rookie of the Year votes. Foul ball.
You know, Gene, if Will Clark had stayed healthy, he would have had a good shot.
I think so. His numbers are good anyway, you know, for the time he was up, and he certainly impressed me. Of course, we haven't seen some of the youngsters in the American League, but early in the season, before Clark got hurt, he was just a natural.
Boy, they have got a bunch of youngsters in the American League, hitters, and hit the long ball. Cleveland's got a couple of good young lookers.
Kind of anxious to see that Corey Snyder play. Boy, his numbers are great. Thompson, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And just a little piece of that one, 1-2. Got a lot of leading candidates for Rookie of the Year. Todd Worrell, of course, very prominently mentioned, if you go along with the theory that a pitcher can win it. I don't go along with that, but I think that should be a separate category.
His name's easy for me to write.
Yeah. Two. But you have Thompson and Kevin Mitchell of the Mets and Barry Bonds of the Pirates. Here's that 2-2 pitch. Hey, he got him. That's the third for Scott. Swing and a miss by Brenly Ouellette in the second inning, and Thompson does it here to wrap up the top half of the third inning. We go to bottom of 3 on HSE. Early in the ball game at the Astrodome, Astros and the Giants are 0-0. There's a ball down too low to Walling, or rather to Dorn, excuse me. Dorn, Walling, and then Davis. Dorn struck out his first time looking. That's the only strikeout that Berenguer has picked up so far, and it's 2-0. Astros forced into that extra game playoff with the Dodgers back in 1980 before they tangled with the Philadelphia Phillies in one of the most exciting playoff series ever. And the makings of this one, Bill, you got to hold off a little bit.
You really do. This could be the dandy of them all. And of course, the World Series in '80, Gene, almost anticlimactic, wasn't it?
It certainly was. There's a ball out of play. 2-2 on Dorn. He broke his bat on that one. Hey, now there. You got a clinch day ball, she hopes. She's got a ball anyway. She is. It's daddy.
Yeah. They both snuck out the back door at work, and now they're on TV. Yeah, I can still remember in 1980 that shot of Jose Cruz on the bench after the game, that dejected look. He put so much into it, of course, and it had been such a great game. What a roller coaster ride that game was.
Ball 2, strike 2 on Doran. Bottom of the third, no score, nobody out. Base hit between Thompson and Clark into right field. You know, in this game, your chances of getting to that World Series just doesn't happen very often. In that '80 series, they got so close to getting into it. Well, there's Dorn trying to get something else started. Astros have led off each inning with their first man on. Hatcher hit by a pitch, Cruz walked, and now Doran has singled to open the third with Walling. And a high pop-up over by the dugout. Brenly. No chance. There you go. Catcher Brad Golden relaying that one into the crowd.
Before they were going to come in and get him.
Yeah, right. One strike on Walling with a base hit to left center field in the first inning. And nobody out. Doran on first. Outfield deep off the right side. Berenguer's pitch to Walling is a double play ball. Thompson, Uribe to Will Clark. 2 away. Now Walling hits into 2, and that erases Doran. And Glenn Davis will be the hitter. Davis singled to left field his first time. Hard hit ball to Maldonado in left field. 4 Houston hits. And no score. Ball 1. They're the home run men. Davis all by himself in that 2 spot after getting his 30th last night. Two balls, no strikes. Davis has had more home runs at home than he has on the road this year. Ball 2, no strikes. Uribe way over in the hole for him. Interesting that this time around, the Astros haven't seen the Giants for quite some time, but in the first 2 times around, Roger Craig was using that overshift on Davis. They don't. No one employs that very much. It worked on Davis early, I think, mostly psychologically. After he beat it a couple times, they switched back to basic normal. Second baseman Thompson is deep at second base, but not moved around. 3 balls, 1 strike on Davis.
Yeah, Grady Hatton scouts a lot for the Giants. Was here during a series when a couple of other clubs employed it after the Giants had success with it, and he just started going to right field and up the middle, and so everybody had to switch back.
2 outs and nobody on. 3-1 from Berenguer. Another foul ball upstairs. Astros are 24 games over 500 for the second time this year. All-time high is 25 games over. That was on October 2nd, 1980. That's when the Astros had that lead before they went into LA for the disastrous 3 consecutive losses to the Dodgers in the '80 season, and that brought on the 163rd game of the year. Well, they have a chance to tie that all-time high today if they can clinch it here. Here's 3-2 to Davis, and he is walked.
I'm telling you, this was a close pitch. If I were Berenguer, I'd be a little upset with this call.
Yes, sir. That's a good pitch.
Looks pretty good to me.
Berenguer didn't say anything, but he sure does shake his head about that one.
Well, I think it's showing you now that Glenn Davis has arrived in the National League. The umpires are starting to say, well, you got more clout than the pitcher does.
That's right. That's right. All right, here's Kevin. That's a strike. Bass sent Davis to the wall his first time up with the fly ball. Single door and double play ball and a walk to Davis. 0-0 here in the third inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, they're the leaders. Raines is back on top now. That's been flip-flopping between Raines and Gwynn recently. Sachs is still in there, and Bass has been in that 4 spot now for about a week. 1-1 to Bass.
Denny Walling would be up there too, but he doesn't have enough time at bats to qualify.
And will not have enough. So it looks right now as though the Astros will have 1 300 hitter this year.
Pretty good stat right there.
Ball 2 and strike 1. There's a base hit to right. Davis will stop at second. Chili Davis jumps on that one in a hurry. Cut off by the shortstop Jose Uribe at front of second base. Well, I'll say one thing, Bill. There's not been a shortage of base runners in this game for the Astros.
No, all the Astros need to do, Gene, is pull the chair out. They've got the noose. They've had the noose around his neck for a while now. Somebody's got to apply the big hit.
2 outs in the third inning, and 8 runners have reached already. 8 batters have reached off of Berenguer. Cruz was one of them. He opened that second inning with a walk. Now he has Davis on second and Bass at first. Berenguer gives up his 5th hit, and Bass collects his 178th hit of the year. 0-0 in the third.
Oh, yeah. He was trying to deposit that in the orange seats.
1 strike on Cheo.
Received a nice award from Puerto Rico before the game as the most popular athlete in that country.
That's behind 2 strikes on that pitch. Doran base hit, double play ball off of Walling's bat, a walk to Davis, and now a base hit by Kevin Bass. And 2 strikes on Jose Cruz. And a pop foul on the play. Up and in the seats off the third.
I think Berenguer may be more comfortable out of the stretch, being a relief pitcher and being in those situations a lot more. It seems like when he goes to the stretch, he's a lot tougher.
That's Davis with a walk. Well, Glenn's had a single and a walk today. Bass has flied out and single. Count is still 2 strikes on Jose Cruz. One and 2. Berenguer, a 5-year major league veteran.
You're giving Cruz a lot of room in left center field. If he were to hit one out there between Maldonado and Gladden, they could start circling those bases.
Counts 1 and 2 on Cruz, 2 outs. Glenn Davis on second and Kevin Bass on first. And foul off the railing.
Boy, Berenguer got away with a mistake that time. He hung a curveball. And if you're going to throw Cruz a breaking pitch, you better get it down and have something on it. That time it was right up where Jose could get a good look at it. And that, I am sure, is what Ouellette is telling him. Watch this pitch just hang up there. Ooh.
Bottom of the third. 2-2.
Well, I can tell you one thing. He's certainly not throwing at Jose Cruz, because in the jam he's in right now, he'd love to have a strike, and he just wants to be careful. Berenguer's been around. He knows what a tough hitter Cruz is, and he wants to have something on the pitch, and he'd like to have it on the corner.
Good play by Willett.
Yeah, it really was. This is a good young catcher here.
Yeah, he's a good hustler. Trying to make his mark here in the big leagues. That moves the count to 2-2 on Cruz. Runners first and second, 2 outs. Got him.
What a pitch. What a pitch.
Oh, the Astros now have left 6 on. They have gone 2-2-2 here in the early innings. Well, we played 3 this afternoon as the Astros try to wrap it up in the Western Division of the National League. 5 hits you see for the Astros. Nothing doing much for the Giants. They've had some men on, but 0-0. And as we go to 4, here's Bill Worrell.
Thank you, Gene. Mike Scott heading into his 4th inning of work, and leading off Will Clark, the young first baseman for the Giants. Impressive performer when I saw him at Mississippi State in college baseball. He's continued on here in the major leagues. Good at the plate, good bat control, and he's an excellent first baseman. There's the split finger, and the count is even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Astros have had a lot of base runners today, but haven't been able to come up with a key hit to get the big run, and it's still 0-0. The Astros have 5 hits through 3 innings. And it's ball 2, 2-1. Will Clark, along with Robbie Thompson for the Giants, so they're 2 candidates for Rookie of the Year. Thompson with a better chance since Clark has been injured. And as we talked about a little earlier, had Clark not gone on that injury list, and his figures are pretty good right now. He's got 38 runs batted in limited time, and he's hitting at .291. Doran. Nice play to his left. You're going to see 2 of the better second basemen around in covering ground, Bill Doran and Rob Thompson. They're scattered all throughout the National League now. Steve Sachs having an excellent year. Of course, we know about Ryan Sandberg.
And Juan Samuel.
Juan Samuel.
They've got a lot of good ones.
Pittsburgh.
Johnny Ray.
Johnny Ray. Good pitch on the outside corner by Mike Scott to Candy Maldonado. Here's a guy that may be so good off the bench as a pinch hitter, he's hurt himself at becoming a starter. He really has produced for the Giants off the bench this year.
He's also done a real good job when he's played regularly. And of course, Roger Craig did not want to play him regularly, but due to the injury to Jeffrey Leonard, he got his chance to go both ways this year.
Well, he's really been outstanding. They've had a lot of injuries, the Giants have this year. But unlike the Dodgers, the Giants have been able to play through it. They brought up some kids that have really played good baseball. You know, it hurt them to lose Chris Brown, too, their young all-star. But they've played through that. Oh, good pitch. And that's the 4th strikeout of the game for Mike Scott. That split finger pitch right now is the pitch that Scott's got going. You noticed early in the game he didn't have good command of it, but now he does. Watch it. See the bottom fall out? Now he's found that pitch, and he's using it extensively. Chili Davis will be the hitter for the Giants. 2 outs, top of the 4th inning, no score in the game. Davis came in hitting at .276 with 11 homers and 65 runs batted in. Should be easy play for Reynolds. And an easy inning for Mike Scott. 3 up and 3 down as we're in the middle of the 4th inning at the Astrodome. And there's still no score in this game as the Astros go for the clincher on HSE. Well, the Astros and the Giants going at it here in the Dome, and Juan Berenguer will be heading into his 4th inning of work. He has been a reliever. As we told you earlier, this will be the 43rd game he's appeared in. He's come out of the bullpen 42 times. So he hasn't had a lot of starting assignments, and I believe probably Roger Craig now will be keeping a close eye on Berenguer and have that bullpen ready to go. The Astros have had a lot of runners on base. They have stranded 6 in the first 3 innings, and Alan Ashby will lead it off for Houston in the bottom of the 4th inning. Almost a capacity crowd on this Thursday afternoon as the Astros go for the clincher in the National League West. Right field, not very deep. Chili Davis for out number 1. So Ashby picks on the first pitch. He flies out, and the hitter will be Craig Reynolds. Reynolds this year has had 6 game-winning RBIs, and although he's not hitting that high for average at 244, he has been a very valuable hitter for the Astros in the clutch. And as Gene told you a little earlier, he's battling a slump right now. Another valuable place for Reynolds this year is in that pinch hitting department. He has really been great off the bench. 9 for 21 as a pinch hitter this year. Hal Lanier basically has 4 starters on the left side of the infield. Reynolds and Thon at shortstop, and the Walgar combination at third. Garner and Walling. And he doesn't hesitate when he starts one and they change arms out of the bullpen. He'll go with the other 2. Really strengthens his bench. That one's hit pretty good to right field, but Davis has a bead on it for out number 2. So the first 4 pitches by Juan Berenguer, and the Astros have flied out to right field, and Mike Scott will be the hitter. So it's been a quiet 4th inning. The Giants had a little threat going in the first. Scott was able to pitch his way out of that. And since that time, the Giants' bats have been very quiet, but the Astros have had a little rally going in every inning. Haven't been able to score yet, however, and it's still 0-0. Scotty with 3 RBIs on the year. Hits one back up the middle, a base hit. That's the 12th base hit of the year for Mike Scott. You know, under similar circumstances, Gene, I remember, I think in Cincinnati earlier this year, he started a rally himself.
He had a big hit the other night in his last start, I think, too, didn't he, Bill? Let me check real quick on it. Yeah, he had a single in the 2nd inning and a 3-run inning against the San Diego Padres.
Well, a lot of things happen in baseball with 2 outs. Will Clark will make a little brief trip in to talk to Berenguer. Scott, of course, no threat to be running anywhere. And Hatcher will be the hitter. 2 away in the bottom of the 4th inning. 6 hits given up now by Juan Berenguer. That time Berenguer got that baseball to break back in on the outside corner of the plate. He got the strike call from Bob Engel. If some of you are just joining us or joining us late, Cincinnati defeated Atlanta earlier today 6-4. So it's all up to the Astros now. A win and they can clinch it in the West. Hatcher with a foul tip. Been a busy day so far for Billy. He was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning. He stole second base, and he was caught stealing trying to go to third. And he grounded out in the 2nd. Billy Doran on deck. Mike Scott on first base. Hatcher trying to get something going here in the bottom of the 4th for Houston. The book on Hatcher is that he doesn't walk very much. He's become a little more patient now that they've got him in the leadoff position, but he's still primarily a first ball hitter, so that when you get ahead of him 0-2, the catchers will like to call a lot of pitches away from the plate, see if they can get him to go for something bad. 1-2 pitch by Berenguer down in the dirt. It gets away from him. Going to be a wild pitch, and Scott will get up to second base. Let's watch it again. It never came up.
Nope.
For young Phil Willett.
What a 95-mile-an-hour wild pitch, and that went by him before he could get a glove on it.
So the Astros have another runner at second base in scoring position. That makes it 4 innings in a row that the Astros have gotten a runner that far. And now it's up to Hatcher. The count, as you see, 2-2. Berenguer was not ready. A super crowd on this Thursday afternoon in Houston, trying to cheer the Astros on to one more here to clinch it in the West. 2-2 pitch now by Juan Berenguer, outside, ball 3.
You're talking about the book on Hatcher early in the year. It was like you said, and he's made great progress. If you want to get him out, don't throw him a strike.
That's right.
But boy, he's really come along. Really disciplined himself.
I think, Gene, a lot of that too has to do with the fact that he's getting so much playing time now. He didn't have that at the major league level with the Cubs. 3-2 pitch now. Scott on second, and it's popped up. Uribe calling everyone off, and he's got it. So a single by Mike Scott does not materialize. Berenguer gets the Astros up and down after the single. And we have played through 4 now at the Astrodome. Still no score.
The New York Mets have defeated the Cubs 6-5. The Mets have just won their 100th game of the year. Second time in their history that they have done that. They did it in 1969 when they finished with a 162 record. And that final again was New York 6 and the Chicago Cubs 5.
Mike Scott has thrown 4 innings now. He has 4 strikeouts, given up a couple of bases on balls, and he's hit a batter. Otherwise, he's been perfect. Trying to keep the Astros in it. You know, there were so many times in the first month or 2 of the season when Mike Scott pitched brilliantly, and the Astros couldn't get him any runs. And now when you see him in the race for the Cy Young Award, you wish he could have gotten 2 or 3 of those, because he would have his 20 wins already and would be a shoo-in for the award. His ERA, of course, #1. He's leading in strikeouts. If he could get up to 19 wins, possibly 20 this season, I think he would deserve the award. But as we have pointed out before, Fernando Valenzuela gets a lot of that publicity, and he's going to be tough to beat. Plus, he's had a good season.
Yeah, he's done a real good job for that Dodger ball club. They have not won that many games, and he has a lot of things on his side. So does Mike.
So it'll be a tough vote. 0-2 pitch. Scott way ahead on the count. Brindley won't bite, and it's 1-2. Brindley with good power this year. 16 homers, 60 RBIs. Good pitch. The split finger, call 3rd strike. And that's 5 strikeouts for Mike Scott.
That's his first looking strikeout today. That was a beauty, huh?
And boy, we've got us some new Ks up now. They spent some time on those. Phil Willett, the hitter. Willett was signed as a free agent by the Giants back in 1981. He did not go in the draft.
Looks like a mini Mike Lavalier, doesn't he?
Looked like Quebec in the face, didn't he?
He does.
One and one the count. Last night we saw the youngster Melvin catching, and he's hit well against Houston this year, so I'm sure that's why Roger Craig had him in the lineup. Well, Davis strays way off first base. That means Scott has to cover, and he does, so everything worked out fine. Davis is over there in that Hernandez territory.
You have to be alert pitching with Glenn, because he does get stray off that bag a little bit too much on occasion. Easy play here for Doran, but Scott right on the ball. You can see him make a move quickly on.
Well, that's something you have to do on reaction, and Glenn's is to go for the baseball.
Well, you can't criticize his first basing.
No, he has had an excellent year with a glove, really has. Jose Uribe.
He first came up as they shot him at first base. He played outfield originally. Around first base, he was miserable. Boy, he really has come along in all categories. Amazing turnaround for a youngster who had, when he first saw him, some maybe raw talent, but very raw.
His confidence has just zoomed. You're right. Well, the pitching for Houston has been phenomenal the last couple of days. A 2-hitter by DeShays to beat the Dodgers a couple of nights ago. A 1-hitter by Ryan. There was a 2-hitter pitch by the staff last night. And Mike Scott cruising along here in the top of the 5th inning. 2 outs. Jose Uribe, the original player to be named later. And he was. Right field. Boy, Bass had him played perfectly. And it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Mike Scott. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Juan Berenguer, an upset of sorts as he heads into the 5th inning with a shutout. The Astros and the Giants with no score. Doran to lead it off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Billy took a called 3rd strike in the 1st and then singled back in the 3rd. There you see his stats from both sides of the plate. Came into the game hitting at .277. What a great year Billy Doran is having. 90 runs scored, 79 walks, 41 stolen bases. And when you put that together, those are all tangible, but I think it's the intangible things that make Doran so valuable to this ball club. A real bulldog, a fighter all the way.
You know, I like to equate Billy with, and since we're talking about, or have been talking about the 1980 club, to a certain extent equate him with Joe Morgan, who was the second baseman that year, and he was a basic leader on the field if there was one. And Billy fits into that mold.
One second baseman to another for the first out of the bottom of the 5th. And that's a pretty good little player right there, Robbie Thompson.
You know, and he got off to such a bad start this year. First time around we saw him, and he wasn't doing anything right. He's having a little bit of trouble in the field, not hitting at all, but really made himself a good ball player.
Denny Walling, the hitter now for the Astros. Walling singled in the 1st inning, then grounded into a double play in the 3rd. Got some of that one back deep. Take a look. It's gone. Home run. Denny Walling. And the Astros lead it 1-0 on pennant clincher day. Look at that Astro dugout. They want him to come back out. There he is. Denny Walling with his 13th homer of the year, and the Astros get on the board 1-0. Berenguer has been flirting with trouble since the 1st inning, and that time Walling got all of it. You know, Gene, it fooled me a little at first. He got it up so high, it looked like it might hang up there. But he really put a shot on it.
You know, Denny with a chance to play last year and this year, 12 home runs, 13 home runs for him now. And of course, this is his major league high by quite a margin. He had 7 last year. Yeah, you're right. That one looked like it might be marginal.
You know, and then I looked at Chili Davis, and he quit running. And that was the...
You can learn a lot from your outfielder.
That's right. He had given up the hunt before he got to the warning track. Davis hit one out of the strike zone, swung at it at least, and fouled it back. So the Giant bullpen gets back up. That's young Mark Davis, number 13, the left-hander. He's been seeing a lot of action for the Giants. Brindley makes the play. So Doran opens the inning with a ground out to second. Davis has a ground out to third, and sandwiched in between a big home run by Denny Walling, who's having just a super season. 13 homers. That's his career high. 57 runs batted in. 22 doubles and a triple. And those are only part-time stats. I had figured it up last night. Between Garner and Walling now, they're hitting right at about 288. 22 homers and 97 runs batted in. Pretty good third base combination. They have really produced this year. Kevin Bass having another great year.
Something happens like Walling hitting a home run in a crucial ball game, and then you look at Davis, you look at Dorn and Bass, and a belated start by Cruz. Talk about MVPs in a ball club. I tell you, it's pretty tough to pick one on this team.
It'd be a tough vote. That's right. One ball, two strikes on Kevin Bass. The Astros have struck here in the bottom of the fifth inning, lead it 1-0. Trying to get number 18 for Mike Scott and the clincher for the Astros. He almost went around. He held back. And it's 3-1. There's Steve Ripley. Gave the palms down sign. These Astro fans want some more. Three and one pitch. And he walked him. And as you can tell by the crowd, it's time for Jose Cruz to take his cuts. Phil Willett talking it over with Juan Berenguer, and Roger Craig now checking the lineup card, because this was about the inning they figured they'd really have to keep a close eye on Berenguer. Being a reliever and not used to starting very much, they have possibly got as much out of Berenguer as they can get. Kevin Bass has 20 stolen bases. Cruz wanted to really unload on that one, and it was a high fastball inside, and he had to get out of the way. Watch this helmet jerk off his head. Watch this. Wise decision by Jose to get out of the way. One ball, no strikes. Bass off first. Nice move by Berenguer, and Bass has to get back in. Kevin on that 20 homer, 20 stolen base group. Talk about seasons. 20 homers, 76 runs batted in. 178 hits for Kevin Bass. They had a pitch out going. Thought the Astros might be trying to steal a base. And the count goes to 2-0 on Jose Cruz. Well, in so many other years, let's take a look at Hal Lanier. That's Gene Tennis on the right. Outside corner for a strike. For so many years, Jose Cruz carried this ball club offensively. And then there were some worries because at the start of the season, of course, with that hurt knee, he didn't get off to a very quick start, but I think the other young Astros came to the front. There goes Bass. Throw down. They didn't get him. He got in there. Boy, the ball arrived at about the same time, and I had to wait for that signal from Dave Pallone. Stolen base number 21 for Kevin Bass.
Real good play here by Willett. He gets rid of it in a hurry. Good arm, good strong, right on the button.
Just got in the outside.
Just got that foot in.
Good slide by Kevin Bass.
21 for Kevin.
Now they're going to walk Cruz. With first base open and 2 outs, and I don't blame him. It's an intentional walk. First one by Berenguer, and the 4th base on balls. So the runners on first and second now for Alan Ashby. Hit into right field. Base hit. Here comes Bass. It's going to be a close play at the plate. They got him. Good play by Chili Davis in right field. He trapped the ball, came up throwing, and Kevin Bass was out by about 3 feet. What a play by Chili Davis. The Astros with a home run by Denny Walling. Lead going into the top of the 6th inning, 1-0. Mike Scott's got a great game going. Watch this single by Alan Ashby. Chili Davis traps it, but he comes up throwing. Had he bobbled it just a little bit, everybody might have scored. It might have gotten through him. Bass coming all the way, and Phil Willett was waiting for him at home plate. Great play by Chili Davis, and Kevin Bass is a dead duck. Well, you had no choice with 2 outs. You had to be running. We'll have a pinch hitter now. Rick Lancelotti will pinch hit for the Giants. Lancelotti for Berenguer, so that's the last we'll see of him and of Berenguer. And he pitched through 5 innings, giving up only the 1 run, so he did a good job. Lancelotti pinch hitting here to start off the 6th inning. And he takes a strike from Mike Scott. Lancelotti, one of the good pinch hitters on this Giants team. The Giants pinch hitters lead the majors in hits with 68. They have 9 homers and 55 RBIs. Lancelotti, Will Clark have been in that group, along, of course, with Candy Maldonado. So Roger Craig has gotten a lot of production from his pinch hitters this year. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dan Gladden is on deck for the Giants. One and 2 pitch. Mike Scott down low, and the count is even at 2-2. Got him on a good high fastball. So Lancelotti, another strikeout victim for Mike Scott. That's 6 in the game. Scott had given him that split finger, you'll remember, the first couple of strikes. Lancelotti may have been looking for it again, and this time he got pure heat right up around the letters, and he couldn't come up with it. 6 strikeouts now for Mike Scott, and the hitter is Dan Gladden. Third base, you've got to be on your toes. This guy hits one in the infield anywhere. He's a good bet to beat it out. He's got excellent speed. Good-looking young center fielder. But right now, Scott's ahead of him 0-2. Ashby sets up on the outside corner, and Scott burned him inside. Well, he didn't get the location exactly right, but the horsepower was about 95 miles per hour. Strikeout number 7 for Mike Scott. And the hitter is Rob Thompson. Oh, there's the split finger. So far this season, Mike Scott has struck out the side 23 times. He has the first two hitters here in the top of the sixth. Oh, outside corner, perfect location. You saw Ashby set up the glove. Scott hit him right there. So he's way ahead of Robbie Thompson now. No balls and 2 strikes. Listen to the crowd. They're in on it now. They know what's going on. He got him. Strike 3 for the 24th time this season. Mike Scott has struck out the side. What a game Mike Scott is throwing on clincher day. And listen to the crowd. They love it in the dome. We have played through 6 1/2, and the Astros lead it 1-0. Mark Davis, new pitcher now, and Dickie Thon, a new player, as he's inserted in for Reynolds, hits it down the line. Thompson boots it. Foul ball. Well, Rob Thompson had to make a long run for it. He got there and then couldn't make the play. No way Will Clark can make the play. It's Thompson's all the way, Gene.
Thompson called him off. I think Davis was stalking it, and as it turned out, he probably had a better shot at it. They evidently have called it a no play.
Mark Davis is the new pitcher now with a 4-7 record. This will be his 65th game for the Giants. 78 innings pitched with that .312 ERA.
Thon with 5 pinch hits this year and 18 trips.
Davis with excellent stuff. He struck out 81 batters in 78 innings this season. He has really come on to do the job for the Giants. Roger Craig trying to keep it close. Don lays off, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Davis, a big strikeout pitcher all during his career, and he was used as a starter a little bit in the early part of the season by Craig, but he quickly took him out of that role and put him back in the bullpen, where he obviously is more valuable.
And he struck him out.
Davis has 82 strikeouts now in this is 78th inning of pitching.
And listen to the hand for Mike Scott. Scotty with a hit his last time up in the 4th inning, and he had a good rip on that Davis fastball for strike 1. Right down the middle, strike 2. Davis coming right after him. The Astros lead it 1-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning, going for the clincher today. The Western Division Championship. Cincinnati won earlier, defeating Atlanta 6-4, so the Astros can hold on here. It's all theirs. Good curveball by Davis. But the crowd doesn't care. They and Mike Scott have bigger things on their mind right now than to worry about his hitting. As Billy Hatcher will step in. Hatcher's been on base once today in 3 trips. He was hit by a pitch back in the 1st. Hal Lanier, everyone's choice, I'm sure, this year for Manager of the Year. What a job he has done. Lanier, of course, had all those exciting pennant clinchers with the St. Louis Cardinals. He had a couple under Whitey Herzog. And he had a couple as a player under the Giants, or with the Giants organization. Fly to left field. Maldonado settles under it, and it's an easy inning for Mark Davis. We've played through 6 at the Dome. Well, this stadium almost full to capacity to watch the Astros try to clinch the Western Division title, and look at the drama that man has unfolded for the fans so far today. Mike Scott heading into his 7th inning of work against the Giants, nursing a 1-0 lead, and here to bring us down the stretch is Gene Elston.
Okay, Bill, and Will Clark, the first baseman, will lead it off. It'll be Candy Maldonado and then Chili Davis. Clark's bounced out both times. He's been up today. And Scott gets a strike on him to get it underway. Clark thrown out by Alan Ashby in the first inning, and then Bill Doran turned the trick on him in the 4th. Nobody out, nobody on base, top of 7.
Gene, his split finger is so effective today that he's gone almost exclusively to just spotting his fastball in different locations. Let's see what he does with Clark here.
Struck him out. That's 4 in a row for Scott. He got the side on, incidentally, he struck out the side on the 6th on 11 pitches. And striking out 3 batters in an inning on 9 has been done a few times, but it is a rarity. But he has 4 in a row now on that one. That's 9 strikeouts for Scott.
Well, they're going to ask for it.
All right.
And Bob Engel throws it right back out.
That's 16 batters in a row retired by Scott. This is the 3rd time this year that he has struck out 16 consecutive hitters.
Now look at Roger Craig. He just called his pitching coach over and he says, study him. Where is he getting it?
That's Norm Sherry.
Yep, Norm saying, I don't know. You taught him a pitch. Don't look at me.
Maldonado has popped out and struck out. And 2 strikes. Kind of scary, Bill, that at this stage last night we were in the same situation. 6 1/3 innings, no hits by the Giants, by Nolan Ryan. Strikeouts were exactly the same at 9. Astros leader 1-0. That's 10.
Maldonado can't believe it. Look at the crowd. They're loving every minute of it.
Now Scott has 17 straight now. This is the 11th time this year that Scott. Where am I going to put that K?
Whoops. Well,
that's the 11th time this year that Scott has struck out 10 or more batters. 11th time. That'll do it. No hitter going here for Mike Scott. Through 7, and this is the deepest that any Houston pitcher's gone this year without giving up a base hit. Fouled away by Doran as we open the bottom of the 7th. 1-0 Houston. Doran with a single in the 3rd. He has struck out and bounced out, and he's looking at Mark Davis for the first time today. And it's 1-1. Home run by Walling with 1 out in the 5th inning, and Davis came on to take over for Berenguer after he was lifted for the pinch hitter, and Davis got the Astros out for the first time today in order in the last inning. Now he's 2-1 on Doran. Walling will be next. Nobody out. Ball 2, strike 1. Foul ball, no play. Two balls, 2 strikes on Doran. It'll check a foul ball into the seats up off the right side. Reds beat Atlanta 6-4, so everything is in the hands of the Astros here late in the afternoon on September the 25th as they try to wrap it up. And Doran up the middle for a base hit.
Yeah, I'd like to see some more runs now. You'd sure like to give Scott a little breathing room, and this is a good way to start it off. Pretty good curveball by Davis. He got it up, however, just enough where the Doran had time to react.
Second hit for Doran, and he leads off the inning with it. Fourth time in 7 innings. The Astros have put that lead man on. They've had a lot of base runners, but have had a problem scoring. The only one, Walling hit it out. Now here's Walling again. Strike. Walling had a first inning base hit, then hit into a double play in the third. With that 13th home run of the year over the right center field fence. They give the Astros their current 1-0 lead. Giant bullpen's going to get up again. Little check by Walling, and it's 1-1. Looks like Jeff Robinson is going to start loosening. Third base umpire today, Steve Ripley, asked for the appeal on that one. There's the runner, Doran, lead base hit, 7th inning. 1-1 on Denny Walling. Good breaking pitch. Boy, he's a dazzler. He struck out over almost 11 batters per 9 innings last year on the average. He was second only to Lee Smith in that category, but that's his weapon. There's Robinson back throwing again for the second time.
And you have to remember, Walling doesn't see many left-handers, and then to see one like this, ooh, what a curveball. He breaks it up around the back of your ear. By the time you get out of there, the ball's over the plate.
1-2 pitch to Walling. Shortstop Uribe will get just the one on that one. Well, Walling stays alive at first as Doran has forced Uribe, shortstop, to Robbie Thompson at second base, 1 down.
Well, boy, what a spot here for Glenn Davis to get number 31.
Astros lead it 1-0. Davis has had 1 hit today, a solid line single to left in the first inning, and then walk. He bounced to third his last time. And a strike for Mark Davis. One out, runner first. Walling. Two quick strikes on Davis.
The thing that makes Davis, Mark Davis, so tough is that his ball breaks so quickly.
He uses the split finger.
Who doesn't?
Especially on this staff. Jammed him, foul ball, back off the net.
Really doing a good job of pitching, Mark Davis is to Glenn Davis. He's pitched him out, pitched him down with the curveball, and then came back in on the hand. So they're working him from the outside in. You might see that big breaking curveball down low again, because Glenn Davis has a tendency to go down there for those sometimes.
That's his best pitch. He has one of the better curveballs in the league. 0-2. Oh, the count holds up at 0-2. Walling with a force at second after a base hit by Doran up the middle to open the bottom of the 7th. Astros lead 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Wow.
Good to see the smiles there.
See, nice catch, Mom.
Hey, the ladies are big today, huh?
Yeah, well, what a grab. She really had no choice. It's a good thing I put that hairspray on today.
Still 2 strikes on Davis. Davis working against each other. Walling at first, 1 out. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That was close. Pretty close pitch to take there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It really was. He was trying to put it in that back door. He almost got there.
Kevin Bass will be up next. There's the run today. Walling's home run back in the 5th. He's on again. One ball, 2 strikes. Glenn Davis. Single by Dorn and a force at second. Well, Dorn asks Engel for time. Oh, he's keeping him busy down that third base side.
He's really having a good at bats. What Glenn Davis is doing now is stringing out the odds in his favor. It was 0-2. He's fouled off enough pitches now to where if Mark Davis makes a mistake, Glenn Davis is there to capitalize on it. The more times you can foul a pitcher off, he may make a mistake. Howard Davis, I'd come back with something breaking down low again. I wouldn't throw him anything good.
Here comes Roger Craig.
I think Roger wants this game very bad.
Oh, boy. He came in here wanting both of them real badly.
He's doing some coaching today. Well, you know, ever since he left that Detroit staff, they've had some problems, haven't they?
Yeah, he's a great pitching coach. He was a good one here. Responsible for getting Joe Niekro on this ball club back in '75.
Oh.
Well, whatever he told him, he didn't tell him to throw a wild pitch.
There's a fork ball gone awry there.
I've seen some pitches wilder before, but this is right up among them.
Boy, Kevin Bass had to move back. He was in the on-deck circle.
I think Kevin should have taken a swing at that one. 2-2 now.
Now they're going to walk him. You know, Davis had such a good at bats, Gene. He's forced them to throw him an intentional base on balls because they just don't want to fool with him. He's swinging the bat too good right now.
Norm Sherry, pitching coach, along with Roger. Well, there's only one out. A couple of men on here. Single by Dorn and a intentional walk to Davis. Second intentional walk by the Giants staff today.
What does that do for Kevin Bass when they walk Davis to get to him with one out?
Kevin walked in the 5th inning. Prior to that, he singled in flight out. 1-0. Astros lead it. 2 on, 1 away. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. And right straight back upstairs, strike 1. Bass hitting at .313. 9 Houston hits. The Giants have not had a hit today. Mark Davis working behind Juan Berenguer. Single walk in the inning. 1-1. Walling at second. Glenn Davis first base. 1-1 on Kevin Bass.
Good pitch.
It's tough.
Davis has the ability to keep you off balance because not only does he have tremendous stuff on his fastball and his hard curve, and the split finger, but he can throw those pitches off speed just as well. So you've really got to look for a lot of different combinations up there.
1-2 on Bass. Got him. That's a third strikeout for Davis. He struck out the first 2 batters he faced in the 6th. Now the Astros 2 outs, and Jose Cruz will face Mark Davis.
Boy, you want to see a curveball fall off the table, folks. Look at this. Almost impossible to hit.
Still 1-0 Astros. Walling second, Davis first. Cruz 2 walks today, and a base hit into right field. Overrun by Chili Davis, but there will be no error on the play, and the Astros lead it 2-0.
Jose Cruz, a great hitter, even though he's left-handed, even though it's a left-handed pitcher who has a good curveball. Mark Davis made a mistake. He hung it up just a little bit. Watch on the replay. Watch it hang up there just enough for Jose to double clutch. Boom, boom. He knew it immediately, Mark Davis did. He needed to get that ball down a little lower.
Walling scores. Davis at this point on his way to third, so no misplay on it. Straight single RBI all the way, and the Astros lead it 2-0. 69 runs batted in for Cheo. Alan Ashby 2 for 3 today. 2 singles and a fly ball to right field.
Yep. A little bit of that celebrating paper.
Well, it started on Doran's base hit. Walling forced him at second. Davis with that good at bat against Mark Davis with the intentional walk. And Cruz with the base hit over Robbie Thompson's head into right field. Runners on first and third. Way up on Ashby, a ball.
Well, Mark Davis is humping his back and throwing as hard as he can throw right now.
There's the stat board. 10 Houston hits. Bob Brentley will go to second. Rob Thompson gets the force on Cruz to retire the side, but the Astros pick up their first run in the 5th on Walling's homer. They've tacked on another one here in the bottom of the 7th. And here on Home Sports Entertainment, our ball game will go into the 8th.
We hope you're enjoying the game on Home Sports Entertainment, and what a dandy it is.
Well, this is the 8th inning, and there's the story. Bob Brentley will lead it off against Mike Scott. Phil Willett will follow. And a strike. Scott has struck out 5 of the last 6 men to face him. He has 10. Brentley has struck out twice, swinging and looking today.
You don't have to tell the fans what's going on. They're sitting on the edge of their seats and they're applauding every strike by Mike Scott.
Scott has not given up a hit. He has hit Gladden with a pitch to open the ball game and then walked Davis to open the 2nd. He has retired 19 in a row. 19 straight batters. This is the first time this year that anyone on this club has done it. Bob Nepper has the season's high of 17 in a row against San Diego back in August, and now Scott has just reached 19, and that is his 11th strikeout.
And he's doing it against the man who taught him the split finger.
Here's the catcher, Phil Willett. Struck out and grounded out. Foul ball, strike 1. Seven and a third hitless innings for Mike Scott. Jose Uribe will bat next. Astros 2 and San Francisco nothing here in the 8th inning. 1-1. Talking about Scott and his strikeouts, he has 11 now. 11 times this year. He has struck out 10 or more batters. The club record is 14. And J.R. Richard did that in back-to-back years, 78 and 79. That is 14 times striking out 10 or more batters in a season. 2-1.
One thing Mike Scott's been able to guard against since the second inning, he hasn't fallen behind on a lot of hitters, so he's been able to throw his pitch.
2-1. One out, nobody on base. Ball 3, strike 1. 32,808 paid today. 32,808. 35,152 total crowd. Ball 3 and strike 1 on this rookie catcher with 1 out. Brenly opened the inning with a strikeout. Uribe will be next. 3-2.
Well, that's saying, where did the bottom of that ball go to? I think Mike took a little off of it.
Yeah, that shot that we talked about earlier when he struck out back in the second inning, he was got that freeze frame, and you're looking right out of Scott to basically ask the same question. Well, he's 3-2 on it. He lost him. Now is the third base runner for San Francisco. 2 walks and a hit batter. Willette takes a 1-out walk here in the 8th, and that stops Mike String at 19 in a row. Jose Uribe is not going to bat, and it will be,
well, Aldrete and Spillman, and I think it's going to be Spillman.
Well, it'll be both of them evidently.
Yep.
Because the pitcher's due up next. Davis is due to follow Uribe.
Well, they're throwing 2 pretty good hitters at Mike Scott right now. Harry Spillman has had 1 excellent season for the Giants. And of course, many of you, if you're familiar with the name, know that he wore an Astro uniform for several seasons here in Houston.
So Scott now has struck out a batter and walked 1 here in the 8th inning. The Astros lead it 2-0.
Harry Spillman, a dangerous hitter in this situation. He has pinch hit 29 times this year with 12 hits and 8 runs batted in. Good hitter.
That's a 414 pinch hit average. Willette is the runner at first base. And a strike. Spillman released by the Astros last year, signed on with the Detroit Tigers minor league system, went to Detroit, was released by the Tigers, and then signed by San Francisco, all in 1 year. Doran will get 1 there, and that's all. Nice play by Billy. Had to react very quickly on that. A very sharply hit ball by Spillman.
Spillman doesn't run real well. Billy did very well to get to it. The ball was to his left. Now, if he makes a good throw to Thon, there's a lot of ball showing in Dickey's glove too, but he keeps his foot on the bag. Dickey might have been able to double him up, but as it is, he still gets the lead out, and we'll have another pinch hitter, Mike Aldrete, and he broke up the no-hitter for Nolan Ryan last night.
2 outs, runner on first base. 2-0 Astros in the 8th inning. The Montreal Expos with Floyd Yeomans pitching earlier this year. Yeomans gave up 1 hit in that ball game to the Giants, and Aldrete got that one. Now we'll have a runner at first base.
So this is the guy who specializes in this, huh?
Luis Quinones will run at first, and we'll see what Aldrete does here. That was not a 1-hitter last night, but he picked up the first hit off Ryan. Well, Spillman is out. Spillman off of knee surgery last year. Quinones is the runner. 1 ball and no strikes on Mike Aldrete. 1-1. Aldrete is hitting .254. He's a rookie. He's 4 for 14 coming off the bench with 3 RBIs. 2 homers, 21 RBIs for the year. Scott has 2 outs with a runner on first base. Astros 2-0, 8th. Two and one.
Well, Mike being real careful right now. So far, he has thrown 92 pitches in the game.
Pretty good shape. Big lead by Quinones off first base. Fly ball to left center field. Billy Hatcher. And Scott still has the no-hitter going. He has it going through 8 innings.
Oh, boy, what drama, Gene.
I don't know how you figure this ball club. I really don't know how you figure this club. They do something great one day, and they come back to top it the next. Well, it's not over yet, but it's getting pretty close. We go to the bottom of the 8th.
The Astros leading the Giants 2-0. Just 3 outs away, Mike Scott is from clinching the National League West for the Houston Astros, and not only that, but 3 outs away from getting himself his first no-hitter. And if this game were in the middle of the season, at the first or any time, there would be drama right now for Mike Scott going for his no-hitter. But to come at a time like this, when the Astros are trying to clinch the pennant, is unbelievable. Scott Geraltz will be the 3rd pitcher used by Roger Craig for the Giants.
This guy's been a good one also this year. You can look at his numbers. They've had a real good bullpen for San Francisco this year. Well, there's Dickie Thon. Pinch hit in the 6th inning and struck out. Scott will bat next. And a strike to Dickie. Strike 1. And we'll go to the top of the order. Billy Hatcher. 2-0. 10 hits Astros, nothing for the Giants. One ball and 1 strike to Thon.
You know, under the circumstances against Aldretti, that's about as good as you can do, a warning track out, the way he's been going all year.
Boy, he'll scare you a little bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Geralt's a slider pitcher. He has one of the highest rated sliders in the league. There's Mike. What's going through that young man's mind? A lot of things.
Oh.
Hard to separate them at this point.
Or maybe nothing.
Yeah. Keep it that way.
That's right. Don't think.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Geraltz throws a split finger also, and a little bit different one, I understand. It's sort of like a screwball. I don't know how you separate them in certain instances, but it's a little bit different pitch than most the rest of the pitchers throw. And he got Thon for the 2nd time today. Well, no need to tell you what's going to happen to Scott.
This crowd, of course, ready to explode.
Now Mike's had himself a hit today, as well as an aborted sacrifice, but a strikeout, so he's had a pretty good day at the plate also. Three years ago tomorrow was the last National League no-hitter. 3 years ago tomorrow. One ball, 2 strikes.
Who had it?
Bob Force.
Bob Force, that's right.
It's been a long time. That's not the longest that the National League has gone without one, but it's been a long time. And strikeout. 2 in a row here by Geraltz.
Charlie Kerfeld warming up down in the bullpen for Houston.
Scott will take a 2-0 shutout, no-hit game into the top of the 9th. Unless Hatcher pops one out here, we'll make it 3-0.
All right.
And a foul ball back into the screen, strike 1. Bill Worrell is on his way to the clubhouse. Hatcher has been hit by a pitch, last time up 0 for 3. And 2 strikes from Scott Garrels. Stay with us. We'll have it all here. It's not over yet, but it's getting pretty close. We're moving into the top of the 9th here in just a moment. There are 2 outs. 0-2 on Billy Hatcher. And he struck him out. Got the side, struck out the side. Thon, Scott, and Hatcher, and everybody looking forward to what's going to happen now in the next few moments. We've wrapped up 8 innings here in the Astrodome. The Astros out to clinch it with a win, and a lot on the line for Mike Scott as he goes for the no-hitter. Well, we'll start the inning off with a stat board right there. You see it all at the top. Astros lead it 2-0. Dan Gladden will be the first batter. Hit by a pitch, grounded out and struck out. Mike Scott has not given up a hit. 3 runners have reached off of him in the ball game. Strike 2. Nobody out, nobody on. 2 strikes on Dan Gladden. 1-2. So many things have happened over the last few days that it's hard to recount them one after the other. The Astros pitching staff now has gone 27 1/3 innings without giving up a run. Number 12 for Scott. Astros are 2 outs away from clinching the division for the 2nd time in their history. Mike Scott is 2 outs away from a no-hitter. Robbie Thompson, 1 ball, no strikes. Sure you all remember the last no-hitter pitched here. That was by Nolan Ryan. The 5th of his career. Back on September the 26th of '81. 5 years ago tomorrow. 1 ball, 1 strike. One out, nobody on. 1-2 on Robbie Thompson. Will Clark will be next. Matt Thompson asked the plate umpire Bob Engel for time. Sort of summed up the afternoon's work for Scott on that look by Robbie Thompson. 13. 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 9th. Houston 2-0. Scott has not given up a hit. Will Clark. There it is. tell you, what a capper for a great season. It's not over yet, of course. The Astros still have the Mets to contend with, and then hopefully on to the World Series. But to end a season on such a note, I think absolutely unheard of. The Astros had to win today. They didn't have to win today, but they wanted to win it for the home fans. And you'll be seeing now the scenes in the locker room. We'll let that carry itself, of course, but we do want to mention this is the first no-hitter since Bob Forsch pitched his 3 years ago tomorrow against the Montreal Expos for the Cardinals. Fifth no-hitter pitched here in the Astrodome. All have been done by, there's Mike. All have been done by Houston pitchers.
When did it dawn on you? I'll tell you, nothing or 2-0 late in the end. Of course, you want the no-hitter, but you can't get careless and walk people, trying to avoid them getting hits and keep them off the base. And so happy and tired now, fall down.
This is the most incredible thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Mike, when did you start thinking about it? Did you at all?
Probably not till about the 6th, 7th inning. That type of ball game is so close, and we wanted to make sure we'd won it here. And you can't, start getting picky and throwing the corners and getting behind. One home run, the ball game's tied again.
It really looked like the split finger. You had that pitch going down.
Yeah, it's the best one I had this year.
When do you think you're going to wake up and realize it?
Oh, probably about 5 o'clock in Atlanta tomorrow.
You kind of numb right now, Mike? You're kind of numb right now.
I'm tired. I just didn't want to click anybody and get anybody out of the playoffs, but this is fantastic.
What's this moment like for you, Mike?
Well, right now I'm about ready to fall down and pass out, but it's something I've been playing a long time. We've never been close, and this team just kept fighting like all year long. We never had a bad streak. We always had something to bring us out of a short losing streak, and this team deserves it.
Are you kind of blown away what you've done here? You're clinch it and throw a no-hitter at the same time?
Well, yeah, I am.
Unbelievable.